ooh, I want to hear a 15-year-old girl talking about what she thinks about bumblebees. Bumblebee, and then it's some girl's voice. Bumblebees are this and that, you know, so you know exactly what you want to know about anything. And so basically that's how we're all going to connect and all know what everybody believes about everything and all know what the truth is and all come to an agreement about stuff and have world peace is by sharing. So we all have to be expressing ourselves as much as we can and get as much as we can out there about everything. And so basically, but there comes a price. You have to have no holds barred. You have to not tell people what they can and can't say. Because, oh man, my computer fell asleep again. Now it's doing it every 30 seconds. I have to keep wiggling this thing constantly in order for it to not fall asleep. You can't tell people what they can and can't say. It just doesn't work that way. You have to be able to let people go, say fuck, say poop, say fart, you know? And so maybe even, you know, I even had this idea you can be a pro. I invented the word pro-homo. No, homo-pro. You know, you want to teach people not to be bigots against the homos because there is strong anti-homosexuality out there by acting like you're homo. Well, how about making people not feel so freaked out about having Tourette's? Maybe that's a physical manifestation of Tourette's. Maybe Tourette's exists not because of some toxin in the water. You know, maybe that helped it formulate, but maybe the real reason for Tourette's is it's just people being blocked, expressing themselves, so then they just express themselves in the way that they can't control themselves. Maybe that's where schizophrenia comes from. So maybe if you wanted to alleviate Tourette's, maybe you just have Tourette's alongside that person. You know, you go down to their level, you have it with them, and then you can take it out from them. You can take the Tourette's away from them. So you become a Tourette pro. So like you have a family member who goes, bleh! So then whenever they do that, you go, you have your own Tourette's. So that's a Tourette pro. A Tourette pro is somebody who pretends they have Tourette's even though they don't have Tourette's. And so then the person who has Tourette's feels like they can do that whatever they want. And they even have Tourette camp, where they have all the kids with Tourette's to come together where they don't have to feel bad about having Tourette's, and then, you know, maybe that'll alleviate. Maybe one day they'll be cured of the Tourette's for that. So basically, yeah, the beginnings of people expressing themselves to their fullest and then being able to express has to begin with not telling people what they can't do. You can't be a thou shalt not. You can't say this. You can't. Because I know for me, I strive. I know I'm a good guy. I know I'm a service to others guy. I know I will lay my life down the line for the world in general. I don't care about just myself making money, gaining a following, getting popular. All I care about is the world. But there is also this voice in me that's just angry and goes, you've got to say fuck. You know, I'm going to say fuck just because you tell me I can't. Because I have to, you know, that's like so when the world gets to that level while everybody's expressing themselves, you have to understand that one part of the way it's going to express itself is people talking a little bit weird, people acting weird, people having Tourette's, people getting schizophrenia, people saying 4-letter words, people saying words that some people might interpret as being derogatory, you know. I mean, if a black person can call another black person the N-word, why can't a white person call a black person the N-word? It doesn't make a white person racist because they call a white person the N-word, you know. Like, what about that flag? You know, the Dukes of Hazzard flag that was on their charger. Now people are all like, no, that flag represents slavery. No, that flag represents the brotherhood of the Southern society. You don't have to say that it represents slavery, you know. Like, the N-word one day is going to mean friend because all the black people say it. I've heard gay people call each other faggot. I've seen it on TV. If they can say it to each other and not piss people off, how come I can't say it to a gay person, even though I'm not gay? Because they know that I'm not anti-gay. You know, if you're going to get pissed off at me for calling you an F word, a faggot, even though you know I'm not gay, you're going to piss me off, and then we're going to have a war. Is that what you want? You know? I mean, if you want a war, I'll give you a war, and then we'll have a war, we all die, yay! But I mean, that's how it's going to happen, man. The beginnings of people expressing themselves is going to happen by people expressing themselves the way they express themselves and talking the way they talk. You know, you can't compartmentalize people's personalities. You can't have a guy talking formal talk to the old boss guy, you know, ooh, goody goody two shoes boy, and then he goes with all of his buddies, and then he's just like this like, you know, crude guy. Because that is the beginning of schizophrenia. That's the beginning of compartmentalizing and having people, you know, am I this guy now or am I this guy? Ooh, who am I now? You know what I mean? Now, if you look at primitive societies like the people who speak Spanish, they have formal speak. They have the vos and the usted. Oh, usted gustaría comer pizza? It's like, would the sir, would the great Sir King Lord God, would he like to have pizza? You know, like what? I'm not gonna talk to somebody like they're in the third person, like if they're some kind of a god, you know? I mean, we're all on the same level. That's basically what my idea of teach, learning, learn, teaching is. So then they have time, space, and space-time. Like time, space is like like I guess you're primarily in the spirit world, and the spirit world influences the physical world, and then space-time would be the spirit world and like influencing the spirit world. It went over my head. Maybe somebody could tell me. White magic, I didn't really get that. Maybe that's just service to others type of stuff, you know, and gain power by just being yourself. Before the veil, like maybe that's like in the spirit world where you can see everything, and then you get bored and you have to like compartmentalize to find out who you are, you know, in order to express yourself, and get polarized, and like know who, to be able to know what different expression of new expression you represent in the universe, you know. So cosmology, I think they were talking about the history of the universe. I remember that. Earth history, I think I already went through that. Harvest, I think I read there a lot in one. That's basically monotheism, knowing everything is, you know, there's one God for everybody. You know, we're all part of the same thing. Negative path, that's just like service to others. I already talked about that. Orion was the evil aliens. Pyramids, I think I already talked about that. Science, ooh, what did they say about science? Solar system history, I think I already talked about that. The two paths, yeah. UFOs, yeah. I'm going to click on science just in case I'm connected to the internet, which I don't think I am. Yeah, it looks like I'm not. So basically, that's what I think about the raw law of one, part one. As soon as I know more, I'm going to keep listening to this stuff because it's like music to my ears. I love it, and then I'm going to learn some more, and maybe I'll be able to like put it all together in like one song and condense all the information all in one way. That'd be cool to like make it a song. I did a video like the future of music, you know, like. Future of music is where you're singing a song and you're actually teaching an actual lesson. But you have it rhymed. So it's all condensed, all concise, all rhymed out. You can say the same thing over and over, same thing the same way each time to a beat. So it's you're bringing an emotion to it. And yeah, I don't have communication with the internet here. That's the music of the future, I think. Lessons. So yeah, maybe one day I'll be able to do it on a sign. So that's what I think, raw law of one. Interesting stuff. The Venusians speak. So that's that. I think I have talked enough. Whew. Hour and a half or something. I'm all sweaty.